Hello, my name is Ken Glenn, and welcome to my second interactive concept presentation. For this one, I am going to be making a lava lamp. So I watched a video beforehand as what Blackboard requested me to do, and for this one, I needed a sizable bottle, so I just grabbed an empty Snapple tea bottle right here, and as you can see right there, it's about a little bit more than a quarter, but a little bit under a third of the way full of water. I already did that beforehand. I'm going to be needing some vegetable oil that I just grabbed. I got some other things here. Some red food coloring. And lastly, some Alka-Seltzer, which you could probably just grab at any local store or something like that. These are apparently quite available. Anyway, so with these, I'm going to be making a lava lamp. And let me just adjust the camera right here so you can see. So I got to my bottle right here. Already has the water in it, so next step I need to do is fill it with some vegetable oil, which I have right here. So I'm going to do this just real carefully. Give me a minute. Just a little bit more. Right there. Which one was it? It was that one and this one. Okay. So if you let me see if I get this into a good camera view. As you can kind of see, like right about here, there's a little bit of a discoloration. Down here is just the water, and up here is just the vegetable oil. The two are not mixing at all. And there could be a couple reasons for that. Usually, the density of the molecules inside water and oil, if they're not, well, inside of any kind of liquid, if they're not about the same thing, usually they don't mix very well. Water, H2O is usually pretty compact. The stuff that's in vegetable oil is usually not as compact, so that could be one reason. Another reason could be like what I did with my salt mining presentation last time, where the charge between the water and the vegetable oil are the same, so they're repelling each other and thus not mixing. So anyway, next I just need to add in a little bit of food coloring. About the video said about 10 drops. There we go. And let's see. It looks like the food coloring, some of it is just floating at the top of the vegetable oil, and some of it is slowly working its way down towards the water. I don't know how well the camera can see that here, but it'll become obvious once the food coloring, which some of it's actually about to cross into the water, does so. Some of it tells me that the charge of the food coloring is actually trying to get the food coloring to mix with the water. Sorry. It looks like, anyway, the food charge of the food coloring could be the same as the vegetable oil, and thus is not mixing very well, but it could also be that the density of the food coloring is about the same, or sorry, is different from the vegetable oil, so it's not mixing with that as well. That could be one reason. And there we go. You can see right there at the bottom, the water's starting to turn a bit red because I used red food coloring, but you can see that the vegetable oil is not being affected at all. And I don't know how well the camera's seeing this, but there are still like some little bits of the food coloring that's stuck in the vegetable oil, like midway through it. So I'm not gonna mess with that too much. But either way, I got the food coloring to mix with the water. So last step here is to add some Alka-Seltzer. I do not know how many of these. Let's see. I'll be back in just a second once I actually get some Alka-Seltzer out. With my Alka-Seltzer tablets, I got 3 of them. Each box, at least the box that I got anyway, has about 20 or so in there. And what the video asks is that usually you want to do this with about 2 or more if you want to get a pretty clear reaction. here between the Alka-Seltzer and the vegetable oil red water that they have right here in this bottle. And anyway, there should be a chemical reaction once I add this in, so let's see what happens. I'm going to close this real quickly, because let's see. It looks like the Alka-Seltzer tablets are reacting with the water as soon as they start to float down to the bottom. And as you can see right here on the screen, you can see like a bunch of little red mixing with the vegetable oil right here. That is actually some bubbles that are floating up from the water down below. So that tells me that the Alka-Seltzer is reacting with the water to create some kind of gas. I'm not 100% sure what the it says here that it's a I'll be back with you in just a second if I can find the chemical composition on the Alka-Seltzer tablet. It's sounded right here on the back side of the box. I don't know how well I could get into the camera view right here, but it says here that the composition of Alka-Seltzer is NHCO3. So if you mix that with HO2, then I'm not 100% sure what that could come out of it. Let's see, they both have H, they both have hydrogen, they both have oxygen. The Alka-Seltzer has 3 bits of oxygen in there, and also has bit of a Na, which I can't remember what that's called. I would have to look at the periodic table, but either way, it's creating some kind of gaseous reaction from what I saw, and like you may or may not have been able to see earlier in the video with a couple of bubbles. There's still some floating on the top right here. It's starting to dilute now, but since it's a gaseous reaction, it could be something like CO2 since water has O and the Alka-Seltzer has carbon in there. It could be something like carbon that was a product of the reaction between the water and Alka-Seltzer. I don't think the food coloring would have contributed to it, but I could be wrong. I got a little bit on my hand there. But anyway, yeah, so that's how you create your lava lamp. You just fill it to about a quarter or so full of water, put in some vegetable oil on the top, add in your food coloring, so that way you can get well, whatever color of a whatever color of a lava lamp you want. I even have one right here on my desk, which is bluish green that I have on usually all the time. So whatever color you want, just use any kind of food coloring, and then you mix in a couple of tablets of Alka-Seltzer, and it'll last for I use 3, and it lasted about 1.5 minutes there. And it's likely it's going to form some kind of gas like carbon dioxide or something like that out of it. And that's just what I'm guessing is react. Where water and the Alka-Seltzer are reactants, and they end up forming a gas, which I'm just guessing is CO2 because the Alka-Seltzer has carbon and water has some oxygen in there. Anyway, that's the end for this lava lamp interactive presentation. Hope to see you all next week.